Hey there, good people. How are you doing? Oh my gosh, I got to capture this moment because y'all know how long it's been since I have gone live, like live. I am so glad to be here with you guys today. I'm ready to start off this fall season strong, ready to go, and to get people where they need to be in this season and for next year. So, if you are joining for the very first time, hello, welcome. My name is Patricia Hayes. I am an executive advisor. I'm a career empowerment coach. We're just say empowerment coach, right? All things empowerment, and an authentic networking strategist. And all of this means is that I love working with people who are trying to get to the next level in their careers, in their businesses. They need an extra boost. They need some direction and they need some sound strategies to make that happen. And that's what I help people do, right? Work through the strategy around their career development, around their business development, because there does need to be some strategy involved. While at the same time recognizing that you gotta have your mind straight, you gotta work through the junk that's holding you back. And that's the empowerment part, right? And we really are revisiting, diving back in deep on the empowerment part. We'll talk about that in a second. So that's it. And this is the first live session for the fall 22 session. I am super excited. Like I said, it has been a crazy summer. If you've been following me, I've been sharing some of it, but it has been a crazy summer. And I am very thankful to have been able to build up a solid repertoire of content that's valuable, that people still appreciate, that I've been able to reshare with you over this summer. And that said, it is time to keep it moving with some fresh stuff. And we're going to get it here starting today. And as I referenced, one of the things that really got me started when I started going down this road of getting more involved in professional development, particularly for women, for professional women, and coaching, is I really started it because I knew my experience when I was transitioning multiple times and how tough it was. And I wanted people to know that it was possible to make it through, to be successful, as long as you are defining success on your terms, right? And that your relationships that you utilize along the way, that you've built up over the years, are crucial to making those transitions successful. And so that has developed into a lot of work around the networking piece. And you have to kind of follow the coffee chats or some of the blog stuff and the email, get on the email list to get more of the empowerment stuff. But we're going to be bringing them back together. They've still been married together. They've not been separated, but I'm going to make sure that people know that it's there, that we are really talking about what it is that you need to get to the next level of what you want to do. Not what the world is telling you, not what conventional wisdom is telling you, or not what the quote latest, greatest guru is telling you just because that's what's popular. I'm talking about things that are connected to real stories, to real experiences that are based on what you are going through right now. And that's where I love to reside. That is my area of genius. And I want to make sure to continue to deliver that to you. So that's where we are. And so to kick that off for us this fall, we're starting off with this series where we're going to be talking about developing your development and how you can develop to being a more empowered you, right? So we're going to talk about that across the spans of things, right? Not just in terms of building relationships or networking, but literally in terms of you and what do you need in order to really dive deep and blossom and bloom so you can harvest all of that great stuff moving forward. And today we're starting it off with um, you got to start with, your mindset, right? Empowered thinking and next level growth. And I probably have chatted about this topic in some form or another down through the years. But today we're going to, start fresh, maybe with a few reminders, probably a lot of reminders. But in order to lay the base for what's coming up, because we've got lots of great stuff coming up as well, I'll talk about that at the end. And I want you to be able to already have this ingrained, really starting to give some time and reflection to who you are, what you're doing, why you're doing it, so that when it's time to take that leap to move to that next level, like you're there, you're ready. Okay. And sometimes part of being ready is not being sure, but you're ready to take the next step. Okay. So, as we're talking about this empowered thinking and next level growth, my goodness, I mean, I have had enough experiences in the last couple of months alone to like probably talk about stinking thinking and reevaluating things for months, right? So we're going to boil some of that down, but not just based on my experiences, but the folks that I've been working with. There's been some really powerful things going on, and I'm super excited about it and happy for them. And it's just that reminder that it's beyond the building relationships with other people. You got to make sure you build that relationship with yourself, right? Let's start there. And when you're building that relationship with yourself, one of the things that's really tough for people is to really sit down, get some reflection time in, and start really dealing with what's going through your brain. What are you carrying that's keeping you from where you want to be? And it's not about beating yourself up. That's not what it's about. This is about being honest, about being authentic, and starting with you, right? Before you can do that with other people, you got to be able to be authentic with yourself and be honest with yourself. And it's not always the most pleasant experience. It's not always the most fun, but it is definitely the most beneficial if you truly want to get to the next level of what you are doing, what your goals are, whatever it is. Okay. So as you work through, y'all know how I like to take notes because I got to come back and give you some more stuff. As you're working through that, here's the thing. First things first, when you're working through to those next level goals, you have to start working through that next level thinking. And sometimes, like I just said, it's a little painful because you have to come to some realizations that you have to deal with. And it's not bad. It's actually what's necessary in order for you to move along. One of the toughest things to do is to move past old thinking, because moving past old thinking also means you have to move past old people, old relationships, old environments. It's a lot. It's a lot, y'all. And so it's a process. It's one of those things I've always said, and I will continue to say, it is a process. If you think you're going to be able to come in, snap up that new next level job overnight and keep it moving, you know what? More power to you. Every once in a while that happens, but what people don't realize is none of this stuff happens, quote, overnight. There is something you have been doing along the way to build to that moment. Okay. Just like you see it out with the movie stars and celebrities and all of this stuff. And people are like, oh, the next big sensation, whatever. That person's been grinding away for years. You just never saw it. It's all of a sudden when it pops up. And that's why when your people are like, well, how can they be, have, what is it? How can they not have enough confidence, whatever? I mean, look how great they're doing, because they busted their butt along the way. They know the things they had to deal with to get there. And some of that stuff they're probably still dealing with. Okay. And one of the key things, first of all, is what are you thinking? What is your brain doing? How are you supporting yourself internally and getting to that next level? You have to be willing to be uncomfortable. It is one of the toughest things. It truly is. You have one of the biggest fights you will have is learning how to be uncomfortable with where you are right now. It's just the bottom line. You're going to be uncomfortable. You're going to want to, fight against it. It's completely normal. It's completely natural. And so the recommendation is recognize it, take some deep breaths, do whatever you got to do, and then dig in and recognize it's going to be uncomfortable, but man, is it going to be some great stuff on the other side. Okay. So that's it. So let's talk about what blocks next level growth. You know, you're trying to get to the next level. You know what you want to do, but what's blocking it? Right. And here's number one thing, stinking thinking. There is no pretty way to put it other than you just got all kinds of stink bombs going off in your head. Right. And when you're letting the negative Nelly take over, it is so easy to spiral down into the I can't, it's not possible, there's no way. All right. And that is a battle that goes on within you as an individual. We're not even talking about the people who are coming from outside trying to blow smoke, say you're not worth it, whatever. Guess what? There are all those strategies we can work through with dealing with that and starting with don't listen to them. And I know it sounds simplistic, but it's true. It's like literally just block them out. But that thing in your head, that chitter chatter that's going on in your head, man, it's that. No, that is where the real battle can be. And one of those things that we have to work through, I call it negative Nelly, you call them any kind of whatever name you give yours, is there will be challenges. There will be things where there are constructive criticisms that are valid. And yes, you need to take them to heart. But that does not need to spiral down into the everything that you think is correct, especially if it's wrong. If it's saying you're not good at this, you can't do that, this is not possible, that's too hard, all of those things. And instead of doing the fight, because our natural fight is to just literally, our natural response, I should say, is to just fight against that, is literally to sit back. Again, this is about being uncomfortable and doing some things that you don't normally do and that are against conventional wisdom, even though there's tons of research supporting it and all of that. But instead of fighting the negative Nelly thoughts and things that come in, two things. Y'all know I live by paper and pen. Get yourself a journal. I have tons of them. Get yourself a journal. And I want you to write down what those things are. I can't get to the next level. I'm never going to get this job. Like, write them down. Put them on paper. The first thing you're going to see is some of them you're going to be like, that's so ridiculous. Where'd that come from? When you start asking those questions, that's when the gold is starting to get dug up, right? When you acknowledge the negative Nellies, when you're acknowledging all those negative thoughts, it's not to give credence to them. It's to say, I see you, I hear you, and I also know that this is not true. All right. And it's a process, but you have to acknowledge, start writing it down, start questioning. Well, what is it about it that you think is not possible? And it's fair game. It's fair question. Because we're like, well, I don't have enough money to do that project. I haven't gotten this level of education yet, whatever it may be. Because I bet you, rest assured that for everything that you write down negative, there are at least 2 or 3 positives or flip sides to it, that when you start shifting your thinking, you can see the possibilities and things that on the surface seem impossible. That is the power of it. And here's the thing, because I am horribly guilty of it. We can see that for other people. Like I am very, very good at seeing that to other people, for calling it out with other people of, why are you doing that? That is insane. That's not true. Let's work around that, right? That's what I coach people. But when it comes to taking my own advice, whoo, man, it's a whole other level of faith. So guess what I did? I get my own coaching, right? I invested in my own coaching around this so that I could learn how to shift those thoughts, revamp them, reevaluate them, and move forward. And so what you get is the benefit of my coaching that I paid for, that I passed through to you, because I know it. I'm not talking about something, if just off in the air and then the wind over there. I'm talking about real experience and helping you to move through that. Okay. So, negative Nelly is going to be there. Acknowledge her, but do not let her take over. Period. She does not get to take up permanent, space in your brain. What is that thing they're saying about letting people live rent free in your brain? Don't let negative Nelly do it either. Okay. Acknowledge it, move on, and then think about the possibilities, because a lot of times what that's affiliated with is fear or being scared or unsure. All of these are things that we can overcome, that we can address, that we can say, okay, wait, let me go get some help to address this issue, or let me learn some other strategies to work through this, or let me go sit down somewhere and take a break, because maybe I'm just a little burned out. And all of that is what's generating all of this extra negative energy, because I haven't been feeding myself with more positive things so that I can have that level of creativity to think outside the box, so that I can combat negative Nelly in a better, easier fashion. Okay? Lots of things. We could stay there forever, but we can't. We got to keep moving. What's the other thing that blocks our next level growth? Inflexibility, being inflexible in our thinking. Man, this will kill more dreams. This is when you hear people say, I can't because it's always been this way. No one's going to listen. All of that. That's not just thinking. That's also a level of inflexibility. When you're being inflexible, that means you're drawing lines. You're saying, here's the box, and that's it. And guess what? This is the time to think outside of the box. When I used to say, when you go color, and how you're like, oh, color inside the lines. And then as you get older and grown, they're like, no, be free thinking, whatever. But we're literally overcoming years of training to stay inside the lines. Right? And this is why I say this is a practice and a process where you literally have to reteach yourself about how to see things that are outside of the box, how to be uncomfortable, but acknowledge that there's maybe something else that can be done, even if it's not in the traditional way. It may not require, traditional resources. It's going to do some things that other people are not doing. This ability to be flexible in our thinking, to be open to other concepts, ideas, and resources, this is a skill, y'all. It is not automatic. Anyone that tells you, well, you just have to be that way or it's not going to happen, is wrong. This is a part of continuous growth. Trust you me, if you had told me 20 years ago that I would be out on my own, not even lobbying anymore, not even doing legislative work anymore, I would have laughed in your face. I totally would have laughed in your face. I'm like, yeah, no, that's not going to happen. This is the path I'm going down. This is what I'm going to be doing. It's going to be lovely. Maybe I'll step over here and do this a little bit. This was not on the radar. Ever. But circumstances happen. Life happens. Changes happen. Things you don't foresee. And how you move next is very much built into what your capacity to move beyond the box looks like. Wow. Let's get that one down. What's your capacity? What's your capacity? Oh my goodness. I love that. To move beyond the box. Y'all know that's going to be like a whole follow-up topic on its own. You're going to see that one again. Okay, you have to build your capacity to move beyond the box. It's how you grow. And when you grow, that's what leads you to that next level thing that you're seeking and that you want so badly. Okay, so it's all a part of the process. I know I'm sounding like a broken record, but it's one of those things you just kind of have to just keep drilling in and to know that you can learn. How can you do that? Now, we're not getting into all the how to's on all of these things. You'll see some more on that. Keep watching. But here's the thing, on one of the best ways to challenge your thinking on a regular basis and to help you to be more flexible is literally to read. Read anything you get your hands on, read things you don't agree with, read things that will challenge your thinking and will help, that will literally have you go off in your head, go, oh my gosh, I never thought of that. That's golden. Those are the moments you want. Okay. When you do that, have conversations with people that you disagree with. Disagreement doesn't mean, oh my God, I hate you. We can't ever talk again. No. That's how you challenge yourself to get to the next level. Because guess what? At the next level, you're going to have people you don't agree with. You're going to have situations that are not the norm, that just come out of left field that you have to deal with. But if you are not able to be flexible and fluid in those moments, you're going to break. You know the whole saying, rubber bands stretch, right? But branches break. You have to be able to be flexible so that you can stretch in those moments, not break. Okay. You want stretchable moments. You want stretchable moments. Think about that. How are you creating those? All right. And take that practice. Read something new. Talk to someone different. Get out of your box. All right. That's the second thing. What's the third thing I have listed here for blocking next level growth? And it is inauthentic reflection. You have to be willing and able to be honest with yourself. Truth, just the reality of it. You have to be willing and able to be honest with yourself. This is one of the most difficult things, right? Because you feel so exposed, you may feel vulnerable. You literally, when you're having this, there could be no one else around and you just feel like, oh my gosh, everybody's eyes are on you, right? These are those quiet moments with yourself, or maybe not so quiet. I've had a few not so quiet moments, alone, where I'm just like, right? But here's the thing. When you're doing it and you're being authentic, when you're being real, when you're being honest in your reflection time and acknowledging where you really are, who you really are, what it is you really want to do, not basing it on what other people think or what other people are telling you should do. This is when you get down to that nitty gritty, because most of the time, what it's going to entail is that you are going to find that you must do something that someone you know, love, trust does not agree with. Bottom line. And it's going to challenge you internally, because you may have thought, well, but this is who I am, or this is what I've done and whatever. And then you realize, but I want so much more. I am so much more. And when you are willing to acknowledge that you are so much more than that, that means you've got to deal with those things. You're going to have to reflect and acknowledge, this here does not work for me anymore. And guess what? It's okay. Okay. Been through years of shedding And man, it is not a pretty picture. But I know that I am so much better for it. I am completely at a whole different level of thinking and mindset. Stuff that would have worked me over into a frenzy even a year and a half, 2 years ago. I'm just like, well, that's unfortunate. Well, that's too bad. That doesn't mean I don't still have things that, get me and trigger me. I have those moments, but I catch them much faster now. And I realize it's not worth that energy because I still have other things to do. I have more goals to go after. I have dreams I want to do that I want to engage in. And I can't do it at that level. Okay? So think about how you're engaging in your reflection time. Are you really being honest? Or are you just going through the motions? Because going through the motions is not going to get you the growth you want or need. If you want to get to the next level of who you are and what you're doing professionally, you have to get really raw with yourself. Acknowledge those things and move on. One of my clients, oh my gosh, she's been a client with me from the beginning. Love her to death. You're going to be hearing so much more about Lindsay's experiences. But one of the things, she has just gone through, it just gives me chills. I literally just got chills even thinking about it. And this experiences she's had because she's been transitioning to this next level thing in a major transition. So she's been through several professionally. But she realized this last one was so major that there was more personal development that she had to do that wasn't just professional. That really deep reflection of is this really what you want? Are you really willing to step out and do this? Because this is a big risk. This is a big, this is not going to just come easy, right? This is not just go fill out an application and find the next thing. Right? This is a major transition. And along that process, she ended up literally, taking some time off and walking away so that she could get back to center for herself. And guess what happened? While she's trying to recenter herself and be okay, here's where I am, this is what I'm doing, all of a sudden the things that she was striving for literally just start flowing into her inbox. No, this is the truth. You will learn more about her story. Okay? These are the things that happen. But it's really when you start shifting and digging deep on your thinking, you're thinking in a more empowered way, you're practicing how to think in a more empowered way on a regular basis and being consistent with it. Consistency. It's tough. I know. And all I can say is we all fall off. We pick ourselves up, dust off, and then we're okay, let's go. Because it happens. It's the truth. All right. But it doesn't mean you have to beat yourself up over it. That's not the goal. That's not the point. Don't beat yourself up over it. Acknowledge it. See what it was okay, what happened? For me, I had illness. I had to move. There was just a lot going on, transitioning not just myself, but transitioning people around me and realizing you just need to step back. You're going to have to take a chill pill or this is going to end up in a very unhealthy way. All right. These are the things we have to do. And then what happens? You're going to learn some more. All of a sudden, poof, you're wow, did that just really happen? But I didn't even do a whole lot to make that happen. Nope. When you start shifting that thinking, the things that you were fighting so hard for seem to suddenly, it's not suddenly, come your way with way more ease and flow. And I have been having ease and flow as my words for the year. And it was just mind-boggling to me how it was everything seemed anti-ease and anti-flow. I'm what is going on here? So the things we learn, the processes we go through, and we keep going. I keep getting my own coaching. I coach others. We continue the cycle and learn from those experiences. And guess what? Share them with each other. That is truly empowering. You want to empower yourself more? help somebody else, man, helps you get outside of yourself, helps you to recognize that you're not alone and that these things are possible. Okay? So, I'm super excited to have been back today. I could keep going, but I won't. This one's been a little bit longer because we're just getting back into our live sessions. So we'll be live on Mondays, live on Mondays, unless I'm to give you notice. And Wednesdays will be some pre-recorded lives and some pre-recorded interviews. We're back to our coffee time networking chats. I'm super excited about those. So if you missed the one with Michelle Denio last week, go back and check it out for that first Wednesday in September. And those are probably going to flow every other week. It just depends on how much, the folks I'm able to get in, schedule the time, schedule it, and wherever. So expect those about every other week, and then I'll be filling in. So super excited. And speaking of super exciting things, I want you to absolutely go hit me up in the DMs, because what is coming next is 5 steps to career success in any economy. This workshop has been totally revamped. It is now a paid product, just so you know, but it is going to be 5 days of in-depth training and strategies about how to do some of the things we're talking about right now so that you can get yourself situated in your professional life, regardless of what's going on in the economy, right? These are the truths that are ingrained and true regardless of what's going on, because I know people are getting a lot of things, are getting scared. And it's like, here's the thing, when you dial into these things, it will not matter. You can find success regardless of what's going on in the economy. And the first thing is you got to shift your thinking. We started talking about that here today. But look for that. The registration's starting opening. You can still join the wait list, but the registration's opening, and you'll be able to check out all the content information on the landing page, and I'll send it to you if you want to know more. It will be October 2nd through the 6th. I ask that you share not just this, but the coffee chats. Please share them out on your channels. That's what really helps. I don't want to be the best kept secret. I love being your best kept secret, but I want to be the best kept secret for more people as well, and share them out, because here I truly believe that when I'm doing this and I'm sharing, that there's always someone else who could benefit from the content, from what I'm sharing out, and so that they can grow. That's truly my greatest desire, is to help someone get to the next level of their life, because I know it can happen. Okay, so that's it. I know there's a lot going on there. Hit me up in the DMs. Let me hear from you in the comments. Thank you so much for joining as we kick off the fall series, and I will chat with you all later. Okay, take care. Bye-bye.